Man, how quickly things can change. Actually, watching sports is fun, but watching narratives and the speed in which they can change is too. We seeing an interesting example play out right now. Bryce Young has been playing far and away the best football of his young career over the past month, while his counterpart, Stroud, has seen a bit of a sophomore slump. For Bryce, the beginning of his career done been a roller coaster to say the least. I've already spoken in some decent detail about the abomination that a certain somebody had turned my favorite football team into. Very simply put, Carolina failed Bryce Young in year one. Badly. Now, he don't get off scot-free for that. At the end of the day, he wasn't that good. But good lord, his team ain't do him no favors. And it really started right off the ripper. I've always been of the opinion that a rookie QB shouldn't start day one. Never really been a fan. If he can sit, let him sit. I done seen too many examples of youngins get thrown right into the fire at the game's hardest position, in poor situations and not do too well, and never recover. Thought that was the whole point of bringing in Andy Dalton, but hey, I ain't need too much care at the time for real. I was just happy to have such a prospect be brought to the city. Things went horribly, as opposed to CJ, who I'd argue his first year really couldn't have went much better. He helped lead one of the most fun one-year turnarounds I've seen in a while. And all throughout the year, I had to sit and listen to people repeatedly say, "Oh, Carolina messed up, man. Should've just took CJ." I heard it so much in the first month or two of the season, I really became numb to it and just stopped defending my youngin. Carolina improved greatly last offseason, at least offensively and when it comes to their coaching staff. But Bryce got worse. He couldn't complete anything. Boy looked scared in the pocket. His body language was terrible. I personally believe that a lot of bad decisions have been made to get to this point. But once we were there, the only option was to bench him. Shout out Dave Canales. Things changed for 1 week. It was the Raiders, bro. And then after, the team looked like the same old Panthers, proving that the issues in the city stem far past just Bryce. I knew he wasn't the problem. A problem? Indubitably. But man, my young nigga had a lot going on. Got his girl took, he was trash. It was a lot. But thankfully, the past month we gotten to see a lot more of the Bryce I sat down and watched at Bama. Life is truly fantastic. And on the flip, streets getting to see exactly why if CJ was drafted to Carolina, he wouldn't have been that good. His weapons been in and out. Steph Diggs gone rest of the year. His offensive line has been porous. The couple Texans games I've watched this year look a little familiar. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just so interesting to watch in real time. Narrative shift. All of a sudden, people believe that Bryce is the future and the best quarterback in his class, as if he ain't just go first overall, and for good reason. All the jokes aside, it can get a wee bit aggravating that as soon as Bryce get to playing well, we gotta have conversations and immediately compare him to anybody. But obviously, specifically CJ Stroud. It's so played out, fool. Why folks can't just appreciate both the youngest and the growth that Bryce has shown? Cause he has had an interesting about 20 months. And to fight through probably the most football adversity he's had in his entire life is impressive. It'll never just be that simple though. These two grew up together, were both in the top 3 in their graduating class, funny enough. Were the 2 best coming out of college, went back to back in the draft. They stories will forever be intertwined, both for better and worse. Now, if you ain't know, obviously I'm a Panther fan, and I couldn't be happier at the moment. Last season had niggas hurting, fool. Ain't know how much more I could sustain, but things have quickly changed. It's obviously still early, but last offseason was marvelous. Strip the defense down to pour into the offense and your young quarterback. The offensive line, great. Skill positions ain't super crazy, but it's a huge improvement from last year and a great young foundation to build around. All that's gonna depend on Bryce though. At the end of the day, dawg, it's only been 4 games to be more optimistic about, and 2 games of genuine good play. He gotta keep going, keep progressing, cause if he does, you can very comfortably go into next year with him and turn your attention to where the real issues reside. Defensively, some early season injuries hurt, obviously, but either way, this unit blows. Ivero, for as much as it breaks my heart, he may be on his way out soon, but there are still building blocks on that side. The best player on the team been gone since week 1, and J.C. Horn 100% must be re-signed. The reason this season has been such a success is because there's been tremendous growth shown, while still competitively losing and maintaining a high pick. Listen, Mason Graham, Trav, Abdul Carter, Will Johnson, maybe even a trade back for James Pierce. Shit, I wouldn't even be mad at taking Ted. Got a whole lot of good options. Couldn't end this off without getting a little more into detail about the coaching staff. Dave Canales, Dan Morgan, I love you both. Dave deserved him a lot of credit. I've had my moments throughout the year where I wanted to find him personally, myself, and box. But he a real nigga. And as a fresh, new head coach in the game, he's continued to grow throughout this season. The benching of Bryce Young was a ballsy move to make. He knew it had to be done, and this appeared to work out for the best. He ain't baby Bryce whatsoever. The QB whisperer is making his impact felt in the city. And Dan Morgan, nigga, he came in and genuinely may have changed his franchise in one offseason. The free agent signings were wonderful. And this draft class, the early returns have been nothing short of fantastic, including the undrafted gem. These two men continue to give me hope. But all in all, depending on how the rest of this season play out, this could be a lesson to many to stop being so fast to pull the plug on something, especially such a huge investment like Bryce was, and coolly comparing young niggas all the time and just let them work. And hey, I may just be delusional, which I try not to be, but I am willing to come on the internet to say that the Carolina Panthers are right on the cusp of a very drastic turnaround. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. I ain't really made that much football content, if any actually, since the season actually started. Not gonna hold y'all, over the past few years, Carolina really done took my love for the game away. But they are improving. Panther football has been enjoyable to watch again, and now I just like football a little more as a whole. All jokes aside though, hope y'all did enjoy this. If you did, leave me a little like. Leave any kind of thoughts that you got in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Y'all can tap in on my social medias too. I have them linked in the description and all that. And I'm gonna see y'all real soon in the next one.